What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about LCX token today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. LCX with a massive pump today, up 17%. We've been here before. We know these signs, man. It's probably a good time to sell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. While yes, this move likely does persist a little bit higher, we get volatility, right? All these times that we pump, typically you do come back down. We're going to look at the short-term stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we did go a little bit higher, like I was saying. We'll see if we can mark where the appropriate top is going to be. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling anybody what to do with their money. But again, just throughout really LCX's whole life, all these pumps, even the huge one, gets given back, right? That doesn't mean that it won't eventually be the real deal, that it won't eventually move up higher. I just don't know if we're in that kind of conducive environment in the crypto markets right now to expect immediate continuation and prosperity for LCX. But to be fair, looking at this overall on a weekly time frame, we are certainly at a point where we are about to break out and rip through the freaking roof. Let's look and see. I want to look at LCX here. LCX. Let's just check them out and see if thought I heard something. If there's any big news that's generating this pump. Deposit 50 render on LCX and claim mystery box with a share of nice. Nothing. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, nothing. There's no news-driven event that they're talking about, at least, that's driving this price. So it really is just a pump. That reinforces my thought that this pump will get given back. But let's look at the short-term stuff. Let's see what the indicators are saying here, okay? And then we'll conclude by the end of this video what to think here. So a lot of volume is coming in. That's nice to see. We're looking at this here on the 1 hour time frame on Coinbase. There are some gaps that are left behind. I do assume that we're going to come back down and fill these gaps. Mark my words, we'll probably see prices below 11 cents. Here we are at 12.38 cents. We'll probably see prices below 11 cents yet again. Again, even here with this pump, even with this nice pump here, some volume was coming in similar to what we have here. Gaps were left and gaps were filled as we went lower there. I'm sure there's gaps above. Yeah, there's even a gap there at 13.7 cents. There's a gap all the way up here at about 15 cents. You know, there's even a gap all the way up here. I guess we filled it with that wick there. There's gaps above that are yet to be filled as well. But let's just look at the indicators here beyond the gaps. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, the RSI is promoting bearish divergence, right? You have a high here and a lower high there. Very nice move, very dominant move overall, but the bearish divergence at least would call for a move that would take you then back to about 11.8 cents. Typically, you do go through where the divergence forms. You don't just back test that point and then bounce. Typically, you do go through that. So wouldn't be surprised if we went through that to like 11 cents or something like that, filling these gaps. And then maybe we recover and then we move up, right? We form a higher low. That's nice. I bet we do form a higher low. The stochastics are bullish and the MACD is bullish. So overall, flipping bullish, one of the few coins to actually do so in these rough times across the board here. Lovely to see. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this hour, probably by the time most of you watch this, we're on our way back down. This divergence is severe on the 1 hour. Severe, but it's the 1 hour time frame. It's not that severe. It doesn't really matter too much, right? 4 hour time frame here. The RSI is in the overbought zone. The first time we've been overbought since September 20th in about a month. The last time we were overbought, surprise, surprise, was a pump and dump, and the time before that was a pump and a dump as well. I'm assuming that's what we'll get here. We probably do have lower highs. Calling the high right there right now. Stochastics do look bullish, to be fair, but you're oftentimes bullish before you start to be bearish, and the MACD overall is bearish as well. I like what I'm seeing here, and while this is a nice sorry, this is a nice configuration. That was my daughter closing her door. She doesn't know how to close it gently. Sorry. While we do have a nice configuration here, and while I do think that this move is validating to the idea that the low is in, I don't want people to be thrown off or shaken in their confidence in LCX if and when we do see prices that fill this gap down here at about 10.7, 10.6 cents. I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Maybe we even come back down and form a double bottom. And of course, lower lows are on the table. If we were to see a lower low, the lowest price that I would expect that we see is about 9.5 cents. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm going to turn that down just because she keeps opening her door. She's doing it on purpose, trying to mess with me. She thinks she's being funny. And then whenever I say that, she just thinks that it's true because I use the word funny. Anyways, we probably do come down there. I have a 3.5-year-old. Shout out to all the parents who can relate. Let's see. It would very much make sense that we go down to 9.5 cents, something like that. If we were to see lower prices. I don't think that we do. I think that this is validating to the idea that we do have a low, but it depends, right? It depends on how we react here. If we just, in the next 4 hours, if we come back down like this, maybe the chances that we go below this low go up. But if it's something more like this where we're slowly giving it back, maybe then the chances are that we do have a higher low and that we do find support down here and then we move up from there. But whether it's at 9.4 cents or 10.5 cents, somewhere in that range is what I would expect us to do as far as lower prices go. Overall, you look fantastic on the 4 hour, and of course you do because look at what you're doing right now. Daily time frame up 17%, beautiful move, nice endeavor here, finding support, a higher low overall. I mean, many cryptos are at lower levels from where they were in August, let alone July, let alone even June. They're at lower levels now, so the fact that you're up at higher lows is definitely a testament of strength. You didn't really wick too hard on the 10th. That's nice to see, and overall, again, you do have higher lows. This is a very nice overall looking diamond top pattern right here, this kind of parallelogram. You broke out, you back tested, you're probably going to continue to rally. I have to admit this breakout is weird. It's really weird, but I don't think that it hurts LCX's chances of seeing new all-time highs. LCX is a pretty, I wouldn't say a very big exchange in Europe, but they're a pretty big exchange, right? And they're up and coming, and they've got a lot of things in the works as far as like compliance and regulatory status goes. So I think that they do have a chance to really establish themselves whenever crypto ramps up in the EU and the UK there. And I know that the EU and the UK are different. I don't know. I know the EU is more broad. I don't know. I'm American, man. I'm gonna default to that. But I know that I want to say LCX specifically is gearing up for business in the UK, but probably on a more broad term, probably the EU as well. I know that they're really shifted toward regulatory compliance, so probably with both. Anyways, 12.3 cents right now. Let's see. Weekly time frame, weekly RSI is very neutral, bullish overall, and of course you're bullish overall, higher lows, higher highs, but neutral. You're at a point where I would expect you to bounce right here, right? Point where you found resistance before several times, point where you found support before, might find support now. The stochastics are the one thing that have me worried, if I'm being fair, on the weekly time frame. It's not common for you to find support right here. Typically you'd get oversold and then you'd find support. So it's a little bit intimidating, let's say. Typically, I mean, just look how many times we found support here. None. Kind of right here, kind of. Maybe we do, maybe, but we could be playing off of this trend, perhaps. That could be it. I'm kind of curious to see how next week goes. Looking at the price action, it definitely seems as though we would move up, though. And to be fair, the stochastics are less reliable / give us strange readings whenever you move sideways, and you've been moving sideways for, I mean, really like all year. So to be fair, stochastics might not be as reliable. Same with the MACD. It's less reliable in times like this, but you do have higher lows here. You have about a double bottom there. You're shaping up to see some good stuff happen once you cross above the zero, but I'm not really getting any readings off of this other than the fact that you could go lower and it's fine. But inevitably, I do expect that we'll see new all-time highs. Looking at LCX here in its all-time history chart going on the monthly time frame, my expectation would be that we do see new all-time highs by the end of this cycle, by the end of this year, even of 2025. I wouldn't be surprised if LCX was all the way up at $1.30, a $2 price by the end of 2025. By the end of the cycle, we're thinking of targets at about $3.65 at a minimum to potentially targets that are as high, yes, as high as like $25 to $30. A multi-100x. LCX, let's just see, hold on. Market cap's 115 million. 100x would put you at about a $12 billion market cap. 200x is 24. I mean, you could see it 300, 400x with this thing. It's very possible. I don't think we will, but I think that a $20 billion to a $40 billion market cap is completely appropriate for this thing by the end of the cycle. And with that, again, you could see, I mean, you could see a $25 to $30 price easily. Right, $3.65 at a minimum. It's a big range, but $3.65 at a minimum, 10x that, put it at $30 at a maximum. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. LCX is clearly bullishly postured. Clearly, we are in a ascending triangle here. Once this breaks, you're going to move at a pace that you haven't seen since 2020. It's going to be fantastic, and I think anybody who's wanting to be a part of this experience, you're at a very key opportunity to buy now. We're down 10%. It's definitely nice to see. However, again, with the fact that we're up about 16.8% on the day, I wouldn't be surprised if we did come back down below 11 cents, maybe even below 10 cents. You don't know. I don't know. Anything can happen. But whatever it does, whatever the low is, looking at this, maybe it's a higher low in this kind of trajectory. Wherever it might be, I expect we'll find support. We'll find support wherever it might be, and we will recover fantastically soon enough. These days, these weeks, these months of pumps that get dumped back into will be a thing of the past. Of the pumps that get dumped back into, it'll be a thing of the past, and we will just be pumping and pumping, and it will not stop. It won't give it back. It'll be just like moments back here, guys. Anyways, hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.